Okay, welcome back to the next episode of Canadian Connection podcast, and today we are at the world's largest board game shop in Calgary, Canada. And sir, can you tell us who you are and what your role is in this amazing shop?
I'm Gord Johansson. I've actually owned the Sentry Box for 36, almost 37 years now. We started off at about 450 square feet and it moved up to 13,000, and I may expand again next year.
No way. So, as far as getting involved with this whole thing, what's the story behind you starting this up?
I just liked games.
Yeah.
And back then it was war games, and then it turned into role-playing games. Now there's the European-style board games, Magic the Gathering. It just kind of goes and goes and goes. And I guess it's just a love of games and a love of being able to make a living doing it.
Now, was your career like a board game designer or something like
No,
that?
I was a power engineer.
No way.
Yeah, it was on shift work, so I used to do wholesale stuff too at the same time, and it worked with shift work, and then I just ended up doing this as well.
That's awesome. So what would you say are some of the most popular games that you have here?
For board games, there would be, Settlers of Catan was the one that kind of started the whole Eurogame revolution. Carcassonne, there's so many right now. Agricola would be rated #1. If anything that has a sticker on it that literally says Spiel des Jahres, which means Board Game of the Year,
yeah.
It's a German category, that is usually a safe bet for anybody to get. And people buy games like they buy wine.
For sure, yeah.
Basically, they have big collections of these things.
So what about the card games like Magic and Warhammer? Do you have those?
Oh yeah, it's not just board games. We've got all sorts of the miniatures, like you say, Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, the Privateer Press games, the historical miniatures, historical war games, even the science fiction books, just because I happen to like science fiction books.
Right, yeah. Might as well add them in there.
Yeah, there's about 7,000 of them, so there was a few.
Yeah.
So yeah, the most popular miniature game right now is still probably the Games Workshop ones.
Okay.
Historical stuff, it comes and goes. I think Flames of War, it's like a World War II miniature game. Magic the Gathering, of course, is still the king.
Yeah,
card games.
yeah. It's funny because I was just chatting with someone I work with today, saying that I used to play that game in grade 3, like 20 years ago, right? So it's
sadly I sold. There's a card called the Black Lotus, which came in the first printing. I sold mine for $100 back in the day, and I thought that was an insane, like it's a piece of cardboard, right?
What's it worth now?
One my condition probably would have been about $6,000.
Jeez.
I saw a picture of one graded at a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Lots of layers of acrylic. About $95,000. I think the
smokes.
The most expensive one I just found out went for like $125,000.
Jeez.
I know. I've made a mistake selling that. Yeah.
Now, as far as your clientele and your customer base goes, I hear you have diehard customers. And there's actually rumors around that there was an incident where some of your customers actually stopped a shoplifter. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
That's actually happened a few times.
Several times.
Oh, yeah. I've had customers chase people down the street, and some of them dragged somebody off a bus, or actually he wouldn't come off the bus, so they just stood there, and the bus driver did that. Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah.
Usually, I don't know if we have a higher or lower percentage, but people tend to think of it as more of a community, because we do all these events up on our mezzanine. There'll be 40 to 70 people up there playing any night of the week. I think our record was 172 for some Magic pre-release at midnight.
Yeah.
It's crazy in my mind, but
that's
I'm not
awesome.
that age anymore.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for doing this, and for anybody watching this, make sure you come down. Check out Sentry Box right here in Calgary, Canada.